Hello, everybody. Welcome to Run and Code, humor in South Texas law enforcement. I'm your host, T-Bone. With me, as always, my partner, J-Man. J-Man, how you doing today?
Doing really, really good.
All right. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Well, today we're going to talk about motels.
Yep.
Now, the average listener's like, motels? Yeah, you think of it as a place you stay when you're traveling. Put your family in there. You got your wife, the Rolex, and the gun. We don't look at motels the same exact way y'all do.
No.
To us, motels are a pain in the ass. Prostitution, narcotics trafficking, stolen vehicles, name it, we've gotten out of motels, and especially when they're in the not so great part of town. Now, we're not talking about the Marriott or, the 5-star hotels downtown. We're talking about like the Ramit Inns and the fucky hotel and shit like that. That nothing but problems. Now, hourly hotels are legal, but they still have them on the south side.
Yeah.
I've seen them. They'll never admit it, but it's an hourly motel. Don't lay down on that bed. Don't touch anything in that room.
Pretty much.
If you hit it with a blacklight and luminol, it would look like someone splattered a glow stick everywhere. When I was in tag and interdiction, we loved hotels because we'd watch the cars in there, and you could tell right away who was visiting and who was not visiting and using a room. And you start seeing all these girls coming in and out, and these guys coming in and out. Well, yeah, that's probably a prostitution ring. Mm-hmm. And so we pulled over the cars as they leave. We'd find a legal reason, speeding, taillight, registration, whatever it was, pull them over, and it would either be a John or it'd be the actual pimp, to use an older term, pimp. But it does fall under human trafficking. People don't realize that. Prostitution falls under human trafficking. Those girls aren't doing this because they enjoy selling their bodies.
Yeah.
They don't have a choice. Either they owe money, or they want their drugs because that's what pimps will use, is heroin is the big one. Heroin or fentanyl to keep them under their control. So those girls aren't being given a choice in this. I mean, they have a choice. They can walk away, but they don't really have a choice.
Yeah, no.
So it's not like Julia Roberts and Pretty Woman.
Yeah, like that's probably like the first introduction to like Hollywood trying to like romanticize something.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the worst thing you want to try to romanticize.
Yeah, you don't want to romanticize.
Pretty Woman
this.
is pretty shit, like when you think about it.
So,
bad message.
Do you have your high-end call girls? Yes. Those are the ones at the 5-star hotels and stuff like that. And those generally are college students.
Yeah.
That's generally what they are, that 18 to 22-year-old bracket that are paying for college from escort duty. Now, they're not selling sex. They're selling their time.
Oh, yeah. Well, remember, because you're not paying with money. It's you're paying with roses.
Yeah, roses.
160 roses.
Back page. Back page.
160 roses for an hour of your time.
But these guys are guys that have money,
yeah.
like serious amounts of money. And so they'll pay them $2,000 for a night for their company. That's dinner, a pretty young woman on an older guy's arm, And the escorts that we have dealt with, and it's not often that we deal with them because they generally stay under the radar and they're not walking the streets. But these girls are dressed nice.
Yeah.
And they look like either the very beautiful daughter of an older man until you watch them together and realize that's not what this relationship is. But society doesn't care about that because you don't see them.
Yeah.
If you do see them together, you just think it's either rich guy's niece or daughter or could be his wife or whatever, but you don't think prostitution. And escorting is prostitution. It is absolutely prostitution.
Yeah.
But the verbiage is where it's key. So when you have a pretty 22-year-old girl versus an experienced streetwalker that has a lot of miles on her and a lot of heroin use and her bodies are just destroyed, and you look at the high school or God, I was not a high school girl, a college girl who's 21, 22, in good shape, going to school full time. This is their side gig. They don't look any near the same, so the public doesn't really pick up on that.
Yeah.
So there's a difference between high-end motels and the Ramit Inns. So you get down to the Studio 6, right there in the worst part of town on the south side. It's like that is a trap. And the only thing in there is drugs and prostitutes. That's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
But it's what it brings to the neighborhoods around it. It's what it attracts. And it sucks when people from out of town just pick the nearest hotel to wherever they're going, not realizing what the hell they were picking.
Yeah.
And then they end up like sandwiched between prostitution ring on this door and a heroin dealer on this door, and they're sandwiched right between them, not realizing the danger they're in right then and there. Because they're a square, and these rooms are not. And when I say square, I mean someone who's not in that lifestyle, not a criminal, not a drug world, not prostitution, doesn't no idea what's going on around them.
I know. So I start with the parking lot. I profile the parking lot.
So do I.
I start seeing broken down vehicles. Like if somebody's working on their car in like the lot, in like the parking lot of a Super 8, yeah, go find another one, man. Like that's just if you see a lot of 18-wheelers,
Yes.
go find another place to stay.
Yes.
I guarantee you that is not the
They're
problem.
selling meth and they're selling females.
Mhm.
That's what they're doing. That's why the 18-wheelers are there at 7 a.m. They have a sleeper cab on their 18-wheeler, but they're staying at a motel. No, they're not staying at the motel.
If you smell black and milds, you probably should go to another place.
Yeah.
I've never ever been in a place, and this is just me and growing up where I came from. Like, if I smell black and mild smoke, there's usually nothing nearby that's good. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no,
I'm
that's
sorry.
absolutely true.
And I don't care what anybody says about that. No.
It's like pulling over a car. You see the black and mild wrappers everywhere. They're not smoking black and mild.
There's weed in this car somewhere.
There's weed in the car.
There's either weed in the car now or there was weed in the car a couple of...
Or you're going to find the paraphernalia. The scales and the grinders and the trays and all that crap. Like, no, we know what's in there.
See white owls, you smell champagne.
Yes.
Or you smell grape, anything.
50 black ice air fresheners hanging out the rearview mirror or the turn signal because it's between you and the door.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, I can still smell the marijuana over the black ice air fresheners. That's why we call it a felony forest.
I remember working a side job, and across the street from the Whataburger where I was working, across the parking lot, Motel 6, pretty decent sized Motel 6, but I was being watched the entire night as I would walk around, like outside, kind of get some fresh air. Nothing but Johns, nothing but women. Like, what is interesting about an officer in uniform at 2:30 in the morning? Not a fucking thing.
Nope. That's not why they're watching.
not a
if we
thing
start
at all.
showing interest over here, we're going to have to kind of take off. Yeah. What they didn't realize is that you weren't there to deal with any of that. If you were there to deal with it, you would not have been in uniform. You'd have been in civvies in a undercover vehicle at the far end of the parking lot.
Yeah, so listeners out there, like, definitely profile the parking lot for vehicles. You see an abundance of Chrysler 3s or 200s, danger.
Yeah.
You see a Chevy Malibu of all different kinds, danger.
Impala.
Nissan
Altimas.
Early model Impalas, danger.
Nissan Altima 2012, 2017.
Danger. And you may think, I may have a car like that. I mean, no one knows what I'm saying. You can't have a car like that. But just if it's at a motel, a motel in a sketch part of town, and you see an abundance of them, it's just danger. Like, just stay away, retreat. Just retreat. It's not worth it.
Look at the reviews to the hotel. People
That
put
too.
reviews.
The reviews are even funnier.
It's criminals everywhere like that. They're telling you what you need to know. It would behoove you to pay attention to what they're telling you and go find another place.
Sometimes I like if I'm bored, like if you Google reviews and you just look at like hotels, apartment complexes, or whatever. People are very honest, and it's good because, like you said, it gives you a clear picture of what's going on at that freaking place.
Mm-hmm. If best advice is don't get hotels in the outskirts of any town.
Yeah.
You want hotels near the business district of a downtown.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be your higher end 4 and 5 star hotels. There's a lot more law enforcement presence because it's downtown and the financial and business districts where the tourists come and they don't want the tourists messed with because they don't want people to, it's a bad city, don't go there as a tourist. This town is a tourist town. We get people here to visit the Riverwalk and the Alamo and then all the basic trainees that graduate every week. And so we get 3,000 to 6,000 visitors every week from all over the United States and some parts of the world. So those hotels are nice hotels because they cater to the tourists and they don't want the crime and they don't want them getting robbed and mugged. And you don't want hotels anywhere on the outskirts of any big city ever. And everybody here listening should know what a hood looks like, what the ghetto looks like. So if you're driving through the ghetto to get to your hotel, she'll probably tell you maybe you should cancel that reservation, turn around, and head inside the town and go closer to downtown or the business district. Yeah. Or the motels by the airport. Those are usually pretty nice hotels. Mm-hmm. You can tell a good hotel by just looking at it.
Yeah.
Look at the parking lot. Look at the cars, like he was saying. Mercedes, Beamer, Audis, Porsche, Lamborghini if it's high-end enough. Okay, you're probably not going to have problems. Look at the people walking in. Are they covered in tattoos? Do they dress like gangbangers? Or are they dressed in normal, regular clothes? Now, we're not profiling for race, ethnicity, anything like that. We're profiling the cars, the way the clothing they're wearing, the tattoos they're displaying. That's what we're profiling. Because we cannot profile for race, gender, ethnicity, religious, and disabilities. And I can't remember the sixth one off the top of my head. But we can absolutely profile cars, clothing, tattoos. Absolutely, because they all tell a story that us as cops can read that story. It's a book to us. It opens to us. To you, as a normal person, may not catch it.
Yeah.
We catch it, though. We read it like a book, wide open for the world to see. So the only people that pay attention are criminals and cops. Criminals because they're looking for us, and cops because they're looking for everybody. That's the ones who pay attention. Regular people don't pay attention. I've seen it time and time again. Yeah. They're walking with their phone in their face. They're not paying attention to what's going around. They don't see that car creeping up behind them. They don't watch people watching them. What I tell people is if you're walking through a parking lot, keep your head up, put your phone away, pay attention to what's going on around you. And if someone's looking at you, stare right at them.
It's going to be awkward for them.
And if they're up to no good, they're going to look away because they don't want you recognizing their face. They're going to get in their car and they're going to leave. Or make sure you keep cars between you and that person. Don't let them get near you. So if you're walking down one row and you see the guy here on this row paying attention to you, move over to the next row and walk that way. Keep cars between you and him. He'll realize he's being watched. He'll find another target. They're looking for a soft target.
Yeah.
Motels are no different.
Yeah.
Motels are no different. So motels bring all sorts of funny shit with them. We've had the calls, the motels. Here's what people don't realize. You're renting that room. So that's your room.
Yep.
And you have every right to privacy as if it was your house because you're renting it. But if the hotel decides you're gone and they pull that and say, we want them gone, now you can't stay any longer. Now we can come in there. So hotels will tell us we want them gone. They've been in that room 3 extra days, haven't paid. We smell the weed coming around underneath the door. We want them out of the hotel. All right. Do you want them charged? No, just want them out of the hotel. Okay. We can come and trespass them. Okay, you can trespass them. Now we have a legal right to ID everybody.
Yeah.
All right, so knock on the door, open the door. We'll tell the motel, give us the master key. Open the door. The lock is thrown, get the bolt cutters. Throw the fucking door open. Let's go, get out. And whatever we see in plain view, admissible.
Yep.
In fact, that's how they recovered that kidnapped girl in Iowa, I want to say it is. She was 10 or 11. Something like that. The guy had her for a couple of days. And, of course, he was sexually assaulting her. Those officers showed great restraint. Great restraint.
Don't want to taint the case. Put him away with the years.
Well, when they forced the door, the hotel called and said, this guy's staying here with his daughter. He stopped paying. I want him gone. He's making a lot of noise and racket, which was her screaming in the middle of the night. No one bothered to call the police over a little girl screaming, which to tell you what kind of hotel this probably was.
Yeah.
Because if you try that at a 5-star hotel, you're screaming, trust me, the cops are going to be there along with security.
Yeah.
And then finally the cops are knocking on the door. These master key wouldn't open it. They got the bolt cutters, cut the chain, flung the door open, and realized really rapidly what was really going on there.
Yeah.
They ended up piling on top of him. The little girl was bleeding from her bleeding.
Yeah.
They rush her out. And this guy, he put up a fight, but those officers showed great restraint in not pounding this turd into the pavement. Turns out he'd been continuously raping this girl for the last several days. She was like 10 or 11. So the hotel wanted them gone. They had the probable cause to enter the room. The courts upheld it. Go conviction.
Yep.
Nope. The hotel wanted them gone. So they no longer have residency. Get out. Because you can't squat in a hotel.
Yeah.
That's different than squatting in a private residence, which don't get me started on squatters. That is amazing to me.
A whole nother separate episode.
That's, oh my God. That's a whole, I cannot believe how hard it is to get somebody out of your house that broke in and started living there while you're on vacation. It shouldn't be that hard. Charge them burglary and kick them out.
Mm-hmm.
But when they claim squatters, it turns into a shitstorm. I don't get it. But motels and hotels is a different story. That's a business, not a private residence. You paid money, you failed to pay, get out.
Yep.
So you have an expectation of privacy inside your hotel room, your house, your apartment, because you're paying. But just like apartment complexes, if you quit paying and they're forcing eviction on you, we're coming in.
Yeah.
We're going to kick you out. Now, you did some of that for a while.
I did.
So you know how that process works better than I. That was your world for a while. I know you hated it. You did it, but I know you hated it, and you had every reason to. I would have hated it too.
Honestly, evictions weren't that bad.
Explain how this process works. So, I want someone evicted out of. I'm an apartment manager, and I want someone gone. They're not paying rent. They do drugs, whatever it is they're doing that violated their lease contract.
Mm-hmm.
What's the process? Explain that.
I serve them a notice to vacate. Pretty much tell them they got to go. And then once they haven't gone, if they don't listen to the notice to vacate, usually the apartment manager, or I guess whoever would be the agent for the leasing company, goes down to whichever constable's office here in the state of Texas, because deputy constables handle the civil stuff. They will get what's called an eviction citation, which pretty much is like a big old packet that gives which is the suit, and they have to give it to the individual that's still in the place. Now, a person has the opportunity to answer the suit. I believe it's within 5 days. If they don't answer it, then there's a default judgment, and then we get the court order to go down there and execute what is called a writ of possession. But in layman's terms, it's an eviction. And then, you post a 24-hour notice. That's all you get. Post a warning notice. If you're not out by the warning notice, it even tells you on the notice, if you're not present, your property will be removed with or without you being present. And that's what numerous times will be done. And even when people were in there, we're not opening the door. Okay. The door's going to be booted. Like, the order gives the deputy constables the right to use force to remove the individual so that the writ of possession can be executed.
If they refuse to cooperate or start like stopping you from moving their stuff, do you just hook them for interference?
So I guess it depends. There is a Class C charge for interference with civil process. So from what I'm mostly seeing is for those individuals, they get detained, get put in the back seat. As long as they calm down, they're not allowed back in the residence because they have no legal right to be there no more. So then they just, hey, you stay out here, go get a U-Haul, come back, park it at the curb, and you wait while they're bringing the stuff out. Or you just come back and get your stuff. But you got to get out of here.
How many times you run across an on-site arrest, something in plain view?
Honestly, the times that I've did it, never really, because most of the evictions that I've done, people are already gone. Now, there has been times where some of my colleagues, as soon as you find something in plain view, like a gun and you run into stolen drugs, the eviction process stops. It stops. It's done. No one's moving anything because now it's a crime scene. And now you got to process it like a crime scene.
Really? What if it's just a small bag of coke? Bag it, evidence, take the dude, and keep moving the crap out.
Nope, stops.
Oh, so it's not worth your time to find anything.
That's why usually you tell the movers and everything, this is not a let's peer through drawers and look in the cabinets or anything like that. Pick up the furniture and put it outside. That's all you gotta do. But some of the things you find during evictions are just,
sure.
I don't know, man. Like that's just a whole nother thing.
And the person will show up and look like a normal Joe, and then they have a sex dungeon in another room.
I do know a colleague I used to work with. He said he found like a double-ended dildo.
Yeah,
that was left behind, but it was like, I guess it was left in a weird position, and then he asked the person if they wanted to come and take it. Like, hey, do you want to leave it behind? I mean, because no one wanted to pick it up, and rightfully so. But you got gloves on. I mean, just pick it up and throw it in a box. It's not the worst thing I think you're going to find.
No, but you don't want to touch it either. Yeah. I just double glove, very gently drop it and roll it up in a trash bag and drop it in another trash bag. That's a biohazard.
Yeah. And then for those people that like to destroy, the property before they leave.
Yes, I've seen that. Like, what are you doing, dude? Okay, well, you're going to get charged with that too, because they're going to sue you for all that damage, and that's just going to follow you.
Mm-hmm. So a double-ended dildo is not the worst thing you want to find in an eviction.
No, I can imagine that's actually pretty mild. A pile of
human shit is probably going to be the worst thing you find, because now it's a biohazard, and you can't even execute it no more because there's a shit pile.
Ugh, that's disgusting. Now you got to hire a bio company to come. Oh, that's the funniest thing I had was in terms of finding stuff like that, which is semi off topic. It wasn't a motel, but this woman said she thought there was somebody in her house. Her burglar alarm was going off and the door was open. So I got there with my partner. All right, stay outside. We'll clear the house. Make sure nobody was actually in the house. So we're clearing this house. It's a nice house, nice neighborhood. She was a very pretty woman. Very nice neighborhood. Just regular, upper middle class, clear the whole house. And when I open the master closet, you always have your guns out when you're clearing houses because it never fails. I'll be in the last closet you open the door on. And by that time, you've already holstered your gun because you're bored, and here he comes on top of you. So always have your gun out. Open the closet door. Don't see nothing. Then I see another door, like another door going into another space, but the light's on underneath it. I'm like, oh, he might be in here. I was like, hey. And I pointed down at the door, and I said, I think he's in there. So we get ready, and we both, hey, dispatch, give us the air. Fling the door open. Nope, nobody's in there. It's an entire sex dungeon. An entire S&M sex dungeon. Sex swing, sex toys, you name it, it was in there. It looked like someone took an Adam and Eve store and blew it up and puked it out in this room. It was just like, we're just staring around like there was a swing, there was a Sibian, there was that where you, I don't know what the name of the damn thing is. You lean into it and they lock your arms in your head. And I was like
a yoke?
Yes. I mean, name it on the shelf here. Had every kind of lube you could think of. Condoms. At least she was using condoms. I was like, okay, no one's in here. Just close the door. Don't touch anything. Walk all the way outside. Ma'am, your house is good. And your upstairs is good. And she turned immediately 3 shades of red. I was like, you know what? I'm not saying another word. That's your business. It's right here in American. God, hey, your boyfriend's a lucky man or friends or whatever. Have a good day. We immediately split. I thought about that for years, laughed my ass off because you would look at her and never, ever in a million years. She was dressed very nicely, very professional car, professional jewelry, just and a beautiful woman. You would never think she was Marquis de Sade up there. I was like, oh my God.
Well, yeah, things aren't always as they seem. That's like rule number one in law enforcement.
That is a fact.
That's rule number one in law enforcement.
People tell you what they want you to know about them.
Yep. It's never as bad as you think it is. Usually.
Trust me, if you were telepathic, you would be horrified at most of your friends. You do what?
Oh, man.
Motels, really no different. Because honestly, if people live in the area, like when I run through motel and hotel parking lots, I run the plates on the cars. If I see plates of people that live here, always kind of a little bit of a red flag. Because you live in this city, why do you need a hotel? Now, could it be innocent? Yes, it could. They could be having their house fogged, could be having work done on their house. It could be visiting somebody that came into town, staying at that motel. Yeah, there's a million reasons, but it's still kind of a little bit of a red flag. We'll do some research on the owner of the car, run their criminal history, like they have a history of narcotics and prostitution, stuff like that. And then we'll start paying attention to it. So U-Haul trucks, Ryder trucks, we pay attention to those in the parking lot, run those. Yeah. If it's something that starts tweaking our interests, rental companies will tell us anything we want to know. There's a law enforcement line to every law or rental agency in the United States. We can call them on the LE line. And Officer so-and-so, this agency, I'm taking a look at your truck right now. It's parked in this really weird place. Can you tell me who's renting it? And they will tell you everything you want to know about who's renting it because it's not protected information.
Yep.
It's their car. They'll give you their name, date of birth, address, phone number. And you just run it and go, oh, he's wanted. He's got warrants. He's got history of narcotics trafficking, whatever it is.
Right.
We'll start watching it. We get the dog out. I can call Canada over there and just have him walk the truck. And if the dog starts going batshit on the truck, I have probable cause now to get a search warrant and open that truck.
Yep.
And then find out what's going on. And by then, usually people come out, hey, that's our truck. Yeah. Have a seat. I would have stayed in my hotel and kept my mouth shut. Especially if we find what we think we're going to find in here. So there's a lot of criminality that goes along in motels and hotels, and good, smart officers pay attention to what's happening in motels and areas they work because they know the area. So pay attention to the ebb and the flow of what's going on there. What doesn't look right? What looks normal compared to abnormal? Yeah. You see normally like a Monday through Friday, and it's very dead quiet, but then one day this week, it's just traffic. Yep. Well, that's probably prostitution or narcotics or both because they kind of do go hand in hand. Yeah. One room will be heroin. The other room will be prostitution. Yeah. And you just get your blow to go out the door. So pay attention to that. You'll start stepping into some good felony stuff real quick. Mm-hmm. And I made it the point for the hotels in my area to go talk to the clerks. Get to know the clerks. Get to know the clerks at your gas stations and get to know the clerks at your hotels. They see everything that's going on. They know who's doing what. They know where they're going. Yeah. And if you treat them right and talk to them with respect, they'll tell you things. obviously don't rat them out to the people you catch. Don't make them a target because they're willing to help you, because they ain't going to help you again if you make them a target.
Yeah.
But hey, hey, I saw this really weird shit out of room 211. What's going on there? Well, the maid said she found XYZ. Okay, good to know. All right, I didn't hear it from you. And take off. Act like you're getting a cup of coffee or something and take off.
Yeah.
You don't want to rat them out. But they know. Homeless people know everything.
Oh, yeah.
Homeless people see it all.
They do.
And everybody ignores them. But they know who's dealing, who's selling, where the stolen cars are being taken. They know it all because they all buy their drugs from the same sources. And everybody in the shithead world knows everybody.
Yeah.
So they're a wealth of information. If you treat a homeless person like a human being and talk to him, you will get a huge intel boost. So I don't treat the homeless like shit. Some of them are there for their own, accident, drugs, whatever it is. It's not my job to judge them.
Mm-hmm.
I treat them like a human being. I'll get them water. I'll get them a soda. I'll get them food if I have it. I'll give them a cigarette every now and then, and they will tell me everything I want to know because I treat them like a human. Most officers don't treat them like human.
Very true.
The only thing I get mad at them for is when they're walking between the cars and the cars are driving. I'm like, get out of the road so you don't get hit. I don't work a fatality.
Yeah.
Other than that, if they want to panhandle, hey, you know what? I call that free enterprise capitalism. Who's poor and who's smart? And a lot of these guys, they make such good money from panhandling. If they actually didn't push it all towards mainly drugs or booze, they'd live in very nice houses.
Yeah.
Because these guys make $70,000, $80,000 a year tax-free panhandling. It blows your mind when you find out how much these guys make doing it. But most of it goes to drugs. Yeah. Otherwise, they'd be living in the Dominion in a very nice house and just, dress down for the day, go to your intersection, come back to work. Come back home, shower, and, But sadly, a lot of them are obviously hooked on narcotics or their booze. And I feel bad for them, but like I said, they are a wealth of information and a conduit of information. They'll tell you anything you want to know if you treat them human. Treat them like shit, they'll shut down on you and never talk to you again.
Yeah. And I mean, probably just the mostly negative contacts with law enforcement because
mostly they are. A lot of them do have warrants.
Yeah, warrants, people calling on them because they're in a place or they're at a business and the business doesn't want them. Somebody who's working there, the business doesn't want them there anymore. Yep. So we're always we're playing the shuffle game. Yep. Yeah. So, but you're right. It works for mostly a lot of people. You just talk to them right, show the respect, and you get the respect in return. Mm-hmm. It's not always this, I'm going to force you to do this because my badge and my uniform says so. Yes and no.
Just kind of. It's not really. You're not really going to get the response you want. Yeah. A homeless guy told me about a murder he had witnessed, and he had tried to tell the patrolman who got to the scene first, and they basically told him fuck off because he was homeless, and he was trying to tell him what he had seen, and he got a full view of the entire thing. He witnessed the entire murder, and they treated him like shit. I happened to walk by him. He was sitting right outside of a Starbucks, and I said. Yeah, I said, you're a veteran. He goes, yeah. I said, brother, are you hungry? And I bought him a cup of coffee and I bought him a sandwich from Starbucks. And I gave it to him. I said, here, man, eat something. You need to eat something. Because I'm not going to feed his drug habit, but I'm going to make sure he's fed. Yeah. He goes, hey, can I talk to you for a minute? Yeah. And he told me about the homicide he witnessed. Gave me all the details on this homicide. It was believable. It was good information. I didn't know about the homicide the night before. I wasn't on. Mm-hmm. And it was a city case anyway. But I called PD Homicide and said, hey, did y'all have a homicide last night? And I gave them the area and they said, yeah. Well, I have your witness, except he's homeless. And he tried to talk to the officers, the patrolman on scene, and they told him basically fuck off because he's homeless, but he watched them or a homicide. He's your key witness. They were pissed at the patrolman. Yeah. And rightfully so. Those patrolmen failed to do their job. What's the first thing you look for when you get to a scene? Witnesses. Yep. Did anybody see this occur? That's the one you want to corral immediately. What were they driving? What were they wearing? What did they do? Were they black, white, tall, short, thin, fat? What'd you see? That should have been their very first responsibility. And they failed. Yeah. So, and the guy didn't go asking the guy about anything. I just gave him food. But because I treated him like a human being, he gave me information. Now, I don't know whatever happened to that case. I never heard anything else about it. This was years ago. I mean, for all I know, it could have been worthless, but that's not your job to decide that as a patrolman. Yeah. If someone says, I witnessed a murder, you ain't going nowhere. Have a seat. Yeah. You don't have to be in handcuffs. You're under arrest, but you are not leaving. And these guys failed in their job. That's pretty miserable. Yeah. Yeah, that's very... Because he's homeless. He was a veteran, Marine. He'd fallen on hard times. and I'm a veteran, so that really just kind of like I saw the Globe and Anchor.
Oh, okay.
You're a Marine. You're a veteran. Oh, I'm going to feed you, brother. I'm not giving you money because I don't have any, but I'm going to feed you.
So much for that cop salary, right?
Yeah.
Supposed to be rich, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, ghetto rich. It sucks when a criminal's making far more than you, and it's like this is something wrong in this world. But again, capitalism.
Yeah.
Deciding who's poor and who's smart. So, I don't know if you've ever seen the show Parks and Recs.
I've seen a little bit of it.
Ron Swanson, that's my hero. I love Ron Swanson. That it's just like I channel him. You know? Crying is only acceptable 2 times: funerals and the Grand Canyon.
Yeah, Parks and Rec's a good show.
Yeah, I thought that was a great show. But Ron Swanson's definitely my spirit animal. So, motels is just it's one of those things that just people don't pay attention to it. And if you actually start paying attention to it, you'll pick the right hotel.
Yeah.
If you don't, you're going to end up pissed off in the wrong hotel, mad that you're stuck next to this crap all night long, and you paid for it and you're stuck. So, listeners, please do your homework before you're going to stay in a strange city that you don't know anything about and pick a hotel. Go closer to the business district or near the airport. Generally going to be much better hotels.
Yep.
You might have to drive a little bit, but you're probably not going to get your shit robbed or get yourself robbed or mugged in the parking lot because you walked up on the wrong thing happening.
Or be in a roach motel or someplace with shitty, smelly sheets and a smelly room. And yeah.
Pass.
Yeah.
So, listeners, I hope you enjoyed today's show. We're glad that we're back in the saddle, rolling this again. We got more great content coming out. Again, please check out our YouTube channel as well, Running Code on YouTube. Everything you hear is also, you can see it and you can watch the actual episode if you want to do that, or if you just want to listen to us on whatever your podcast, whatever you use for podcasts, our platform, whatever you use, great. Tell your friends, tell your family. Brothers and sisters, keep yourselves safe. It's a dangerous world out there, and we've already lost so many officers since the first of this year. It's nonstop.
Yeah.
It's every time you turn on the news, it seems like there's another officer shot. I tell you, sometimes I wish I'd been a fireman. But I want to be a first responder. For our firemen, that's a joke. So, and our listeners, we appreciate your listening to us. So, J-Man, anything to add?
Nope, nothing to add.
All right. Well, then from J-Man and myself here at Running Code, wish you all a good week, and we're out of here.